Welcome in, listeners, to the greatest Super Sentai podcast ever created. My name is James.
I'm Nicole.
And this is Mostly Speakin Sentai After Dark, bitch. Oh, guys, it's finally happened. Mostly Speakin Sentai. Gadoosh, gadoosh. That's the sound of a goddamn paywall. Pew, 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 pew. Oh, Gorbachev, tear down that wall. Oh, there ain't no Gorbachev here. I'm the Gipper. Oh, yeah, give me them jelly beans, sir. That's not what the Gipper sounded like. He sounded like trickle-down economics. No, I'm kidding. He did sound like a fucking cartoon character because that's what he was. He's a Hollywood actor turned, cowboy president. He's not a real president. Not my goddamn president. Let's introduce our host for the most, Nicole the Brick Paywall Jakis.
Hi.
Nicole, it's a beautiful time in the neighborhood. We've been talking about doing an after dark midnight toku type shit for a while now.
Yeah.
And the day has arrived. Not enough boobies in this show. I will say that right off the bat. There's no naked tit here.
Okay.
There's some jiggling boobies. It's CGI'd, which I think that's even worse. If you have to make a woman's breasts jiggle with CGI, that means an individual had to go and stare at those boobies and animate them to jiggle. That seems a little worse than just being like, yeah, I guess jump up and down. Correct? Maybe? Thoughts and opinions. But Nicole, we don't have time for thoughts and opinions because this is our goal, Nicole. The Tokusatsu Network.
Sure.
They recognize Mostly Speakin Sentai, but what they don't recognize as an official podcast partnership is our Patreon content. So that is the goal of this show, that they're going to see how great this Patreon shit is, and they're going to be like, whoa. We're a proud podcast partner of This Existed. We're a podcast partner of Engaged with Nicolas Cage. And holy Christmas, should this exist? We're hopping on that bandwagon too. Ghoulies 3?
Uh-huh.
And it will happen because this already is the greatest Super Sentai podcast ever created.
Sure.
It is.
Yeah.
No, Nicole, it is.
Uh-huh.
Every other one, we're going to check them off. Power playthrough, checked off, better than you. That other Toku podcast, checked off, better than you. And I will not say any others because I would feel bad hounding on people we're not friends with.
Uh-huh.
I think that's all the Toku show, or I guess Tokyo Lives, checked off, we're better than you. They're not really a Sentai podcast, but they're general Toku.
Sure.
How are you? You got anything to chat?
I can't take this. I can't take you right now.
Ooh, take me out to eat first.
If
you can't take me, then take my wife.
I said I can't.
Take my knife, because I'm just jiggling it or juggling it around, and I might hurt myself. It might stab right into my palm.
Sir.
Then I'm Jesus-like.
Sir.
Even though it's probably his wrists, your hands you would fall right off.
Yeah, they just rip right off.
But you are also staked on and nailed hard, put away wet.
Your heart?
Into what? They should have,
like a vampire.
Into your ankles. Or in Jesus' case, his goddamn cankles. Boy, did it do his leg workout, is all I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
Or a little too much, and he's got swollen ankles. Maybe he was pregnant at the time of his crucifixion.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, we don't believe in abortion, so we just gotta kill this man.
What?
Because it wasn't Jesus who was the coming of Christ. It was his pregnant womb. He was Junior from, that movie. And they were like, this is the true sign of Jesus coming. It is a true immaculate conception. And that is a man birthing a child.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dudes. And that's that Patreon shit you're getting, guys.
Yeah, I can't. I was not mentally prepared for you to start the episode with how many tits were in this show. I just didn't think that was like a thing. I was like, this is what?
In other midnight toku, especially like the ones that Zyram dude has done, there's just like a tiny, like it's their computer system and it's a impish woman with titties out.
Uh-huh.
That's what midnight toku is to me.
Okay.
Midnight. I was going to try and, I don't know the melody of that King Gordy song, What is Detroit to Me or whatever.
Great.
A Faygo Red Pop. Some Better Made Hot Chips.
So you're still going to do it. You're still going to do it. Great.
What's up, Nicole? How are you feeling?
I already said how I'm feeling.
Did you want to talk about anything about
Did you
your
not?
week?
I feel like you don't listen to me.
Yes, I am.
You don't listen to you
no.
literally don't listen to yourself either. You don't listen to me. It's just like
you did not tell me how you were of this week. You were just like, I wasn't prepared for this. I guess that is telling me how you're doing, but that's more so in the moment, but not all day, day club tipsy.
I hate this.
Hey, who am I? I'm a putty.
Are you?
Yeah, from Power Ranger.
Okay.
A single one. That'd be a cooler show if it was just one Power Ranger beating people up like Spider-Man style. Who needs the squadron? Give me a solo.
Yeah.
And then
just do a spin-off of the extra one.
Yeah, make it like The Last Ronin or whatever it's called.
Whatever that means.
Ninja Turtles, when just one of them alive and the rest dead.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we don't know which Power Ranger is alive because they had to sew the different costumes together. Like in, I believe, The Last Ronin, you don't immediately know who is the last turtle to be surviving. I think they're shrouded.
So you're just recanting the plot of this.
Yeah, and then, but that's how the Power Ranger is too. It's like mix-mashed of all the different suits, and then they're like, "Rah!" And there's a lot of Power Rangers. You could pull from a lot, and just, it's like The Masked Singer. Each week you try and figure out, but every time they go to the cemetery and see like, oh, did you think it was Rocky? Nope, we see his grave because the last ranger, like the last Ronin, just threw a flower on top of Rocky's grave, and you're like, dang it, that's who I was betting on, and then you owe your friend $5.
So they're just always in their uniform.
Yeah.
Got it.
Or like hooded, you can't really see them.
Yeah.
And it's post-apocalyptic, so they have to keep their skin covered at all times from the sun. So we don't know. You can't just go based off from skin color, and they're like really poofy. So in a robe, they just talk in hand gestures, ASL, and then it's subtitled. But then, hey, maybe some of the dumber Rangers, they can't comprehend that. Some of the more ignorant Rangers, they can't comprehend or won't comprehend that.
Speaking of, apparently there is a anime character that is deaf and is like, anyone that doesn't know ASL, like, they just don't give a fuck. They're like, I don't have time for this shit.
Hell yeah.
Peace. And I was like, that's fucking awesome.
It's Alpha. That's who the last Ranger is.
Oh.
Which is pretty, you can clearly tell because, like, they got a big-ass head.
And a
chunky booty, yeah. What was I singing? I had it written down. It was like, oh, donkey, coddle. I don't remember. Oh, you got that badonkey donk. Won't you coddle?
Okay, so I think...
What, that I'm broken?
Aren't we all?
You want to get into this show?
Oh, okay.
Or what? What's up?
I was trying to segue into a thing that I was going to say, and then you're like...
Oh, no, I thought you were trying to segue
Let's get into this show. And I'm like, all right,
no,
fuck
I thought you were holding up your
me.
notes to be like, and today we watched Pain is Strength.
Maybe you shouldn't fucking assume.
Because I'm making an ass out of everyone.
I have a anecdote that I've been saving. And I was gonna... What?
And I have an antidote that I've been saving as well. Who did I poison? Find out next month. What's up, Nicole? Use the decoder ring that we sent you if you are signed up for our mailing list, and you'll find out who I poisoned. WhatsApp. WhatsApp should take that campaign and make it WhatsApp. What's your antidote?
Never mind.
Do it. This isn't
I think
Nirvana.
you have to like leave the room so that I can say words and then come back.
On my back.
Are you seriously leaving? I don't know what's happened. He left. He absolutely left the room to get his iPod. For what? I don't know.
Well, some of my character notes are on there, and I thought me leaving, you would start your... Because you said, like, oh, I guess you'll need to leave the room for me to start this. Oh, wait. Nicole,
is that what I sound like?
Since when did Nicole become Ronald Reagan?
Whoa. Oh, I thought it was like Bullwinkle.
No, that was my Ronald Reagan, was just me doing Bullwinkle.
So it wasn't.
That's also how he sounded because he was a fucking clown.
Okay.
Just like Bullwinkle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he a moose clown.
So at work, so Mars was gone. And at work, Craig showed me this this like sort of collage of a joke that he made with Invisible Woman, and it had like pieces of like clear tape that like this new just Scotch tape that we bought.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like jokes about like how clear the tape is or whatever, like how invisible the tape is. And I was like, oh yeah, that's pretty funny. And I was like, I'm sorry, but that's like a Mars joke with the puns and shit. And he was like, okay, well, I thought it was funny. And then like eventually Mars and him worked together, and then I worked with Mars, and Mars told me that Craig was disappointed I didn't laugh at his joke. And Mars said to him, you need to realize that Nicole lives with one of us, but it's like times 10. And that's why.
See, it
made me laugh really hard.
All your coworkers need to be on this show so they understand what you go through.
Yeah, the trauma of my daily life.
I wouldn't say trauma, just the fantasticalness too mild annoyance of your life. The whimsy to annoyance.
The whimsy?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
I'm like I am a little imp just waltzing around a forest imp, and just sometimes I'm up to my old tricks again, and sometimes I'm a little cutie.
Yeah.
And that's how imps be imping, baby.
I don't like that word.
What, imp?
Yeah.
What you know about me? 'Cause I'm a IMP. It's like PIMP, but yeah, I had to take the FIMP. I'm a FIMP because I'm a forest imp. Or a wimp, a whimsical imp.
Speaking of,
with that,
the main character of the show is a simp.
Ooh.
For that anime lady.
All this. He's a simp for everything.
Sure.
You ready to get in?
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Boys and ghouls, today we're discussing episode 1 of Akibaranger entitled like Power Strength or something. I didn't write that down, but it's the first episode. You can watch this by searching it out. That's how you can see this show because it's not on, there's been no official release for this unofficial Sentai, but it's good. Hell yeah. But it has been fan subbed, so you can find it available to download or stream for free wherever you find your fan subs.
Get it.
Nicole, real quick, do you think I have flat ass energy, flat chest energy, or BDE, aka baby dick energy?
I'm going to tell you this for the second time today. I don't know what that is.
Just what kind of energy do you...
So no.
Oh, no to everything?
Just all of it.
Oh, you don't think I look like I'm swinging a little peen? Or I'm not Hank Hillin' it in the keister area?
Nope.
Or
what's your next note?
My next note is about this show.
Surprising.
Nicole, this Akibaranger, the quick rundown of it is 3 individuals are recruited by this woman. She calls herself the professor or the owner, depending on what scenario they're in, and she gives them transformation things in order to be able to transform henshin into Sentai Rangers in the real world. This is not a TV show. It's a reality show as real as Keeping Up with the Kardashians or Bug Juice. So that's the show. It's them finding out and exploring how and why these powers were given to them and how they even work. And it's good. I love this show. I've seen every episode season 1. I cannot wait for Nicole to keep watching this.
Sweet.
So they start bringing around... They're always making Sentai references, and eventually they start using powers of other Sentai. So if you had a 3-man team, which Sentai team members, you don't need to, so even if you wanted to pull all from Ranger, what powers would you want in this 3-man team to help you with your own powers take down baddies?
Dude, I don't fucking know.
Okay, I'd go Shoji because he's cool. He's got them boxing techniques and he can, I think, turn invisible. He's got them phantom powers, if I remember properly. And then I like Remy from 5-Man. She's musical and has the ribbons to thwip on people, and just the car from Car Ranger, those little go-karts, you grip on that, hit someone real quick as you lasso them on the car, and then they're dragging behind you, then you thwip them up in the air, Phantom style, another car that's invisible hits them in the air, and then they slam on the ground.
I guess it would just be like the 3 Stooges from Ranger.
All right, Nicole's going villainous on us.
Yeah.
I would love that. If only we had a 3rd friend in the area who loves Sentai, or at least Ranger as much as we do, and then we could go dressed up one year to a convention or Halloween as the Gorma Stooges.
No, that would be so hard.
Okay, then what we do is Disney bound, but Sentai bound as the Gorma Stooges.
What the fuck does that mean?
It's when you go to the Disney parks and you're as an adult, you cannot dress up as any Disney related person.
Yeah.
So people Disney bound, which is taking the color schemes of that individual and then wearing those. So if you were to quickly flash on and your eyes were blurred, you'd be like, wait, was that just Phineas and Ferb? And then you look back and it's it's just people wearing the color scheme of Phineas and Ferb.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because safety.
Yeah. Because all of a sudden you're smoking a cigarette or you're tripping on mushrooms and a kid says, oh, hey, come here, Elsa, won't you sing a song for me? And then you just start screaming G.G. Allen lyrics at him.
Yeah, it's definitely not so someone could dress up as Cinderella and kidnap someone.
Oh, yeah, that too. But I truly believe it's more so because there are constantly trying to make sure the Disney characters are not being misrepresented. If you have your, like, if a child sees you as a goofy and then you like pull off your mask and they see you maskless, you get written up for that. Like that, it's a extreme violation at any of the Disney parks for you to be seen not as your character. So if you were to, I don't know, be beatboxing as, who's the whitest person I can think of, as a Dalmatian.
So kayfabe.
Yes, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It is early wrestling kayfabe is what Disney is.
Yeah.
I think if people explained it as that, they would start being like, well, I guess that's not as disgusting as it is. But there is a lot of backstage politics that make it like, oh, you guys are taking this way too seriously.
Sure.
Chill. I forgot how we got on any of that.
I don't know.
Oh, we were talking about Gorma Bounding. So, yeah, this episode starts out with that dude. What's your first note?
Most of my notes are just like people's names.
Okay.
Because it is the first episode.
Yeah, let me run down that because I made a character reference sheet for us and if we ever have guests on here. Akiba Red is Nobuo. Akiba Blue is Mitsuki. And Akiba Yellow is Yumaria. The owner / professor is Hakase. The cafe maid, which I bring her up because she's in the background of every single episode and barely speaks, but when she does or when she just acts, she is very, very funny. That is Mita. And then the crush we have is Sayaka. And then our villains is Melshina, which I guess is not at the end of copyright in Japanese. So it's just like copyright nah. Because when I looked, I was like, where is she? Where's Melshina? And then I was like, who's this copyright symbol NA? And that's what she is. It is weird, and it doesn't get explained in at least the subtitles. So I don't know. It's funny.
I mean, I've only seen this episode, so I don't really have much input.
Yeah. Nobuo gets a delivery. He works at a delivery service, and as he's going to the place that he's supposed to deliver this package, he sees a bunch of Sentai figures in a window of a shop, and he's like, oh my god, it's such and such from such and such. There's no sun damage on the box. It's pristine. It looks great. And oh, it's only 180,000 yen. It's cheap. It's expensive, but cheap. And both of us reacted carnally, not carnally. We understand that.
I mean, we both, why don't you just say we both chuckled?
We chuckled, and whatever the word is I'm looking for to be like, we feel that, I guess, is this sense. What is something that you've been like, oh my God, this is cheap? I mean, in the grand scheme of me, it's expensive, but in relation of what I'm getting, it's cheap.
I don't fucking know, dude.
That Yogi Bear cell that's autographed by Hanna-Barbera, which I wish I would have just gotten that as a teen, because I doubt it's still there at that antique store, but because it was like $1,200. So in the, yes, that's expensive, but for what you're getting, that's cheap.
Sure, yeah.
Because it was a hand-drawn cell, I believe by one of them, probably would have been, or I guess it could have been from both of them, with a nice backdrop that was like Jellystone and then signed by both of them, nicely framed. Someday, get more Patreons, guys. Or someone sign me to a large record label.
Uh-huh.
That advance, I'll say, no, you don't need to give me an advance. I'll self-produce and mix and all of that. And then they're like, okay, and then I'm making lots of bank because I get points on the back end and don't need to pay back in advance. So then once I get 12 grand, or $1,200, I'm going to buy that. Speaking of delusions, that's one of my delusions, is that someone will... So, Nicole, do you have any delusions that are reoccurring in your head?
I don't know, James.
Okay, well, I'll say some of mine. I'm constantly thinking of what nice things people will say after I'm dead. Like documentary style, people just saying nice things about me.
Yeah.
I don't think that's because like because I think the only way people will say
that
nice
seems
things,
like very egotistical.
but no, see, this is what I'm saying. I think the only way people will say these nice things, and they're not very nice. I mean, they're not like, he's the greatest fucker in the world. Hell yeah. It's just like technically moderate things. Like, yeah, man, his raps were good. He was a nice friend. Always wonderful to be around.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because no one says that, at least, and people aren't saying it enough to me.
People do say that to you a lot.
Let's bring it a little more up to the front, guys. Riot Girl style, and I'm a girl. That's one of my delusions. And then just waking up to like 10 new patrons. That's one of my current delusions. They're so insignificant. But I'm constantly
I don't think they are.
That would change my life. Or because of the Howard Kramer of it all is all of a sudden, oh man, Steve Agee, this is a new one. Steve Agee got one of our songs in Peacemaker, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Even if like a Have a Summer song ended up on Peacemaker, that's good. For Howard and then for me as well. Unless he's like, well, James, you're small potatoes now. And then I'd go, no. Why couldn't it be Gene Material?
Why couldn't it?
Fingers crossed something pops off soon.
Sorry, I feel just very low energy today.
Why?
I don't know.
Wait, is it because you had to work yesterday?
Probably.
I was pissed that you worked yesterday.
Why?
I curse those who call you in.
Well, my manager was bleeding from the ear.
Yeah, that's fine. It happens to me all the time. It just means you dug in there a little too deep.
Oh my God.
It means you have a erg in there.
Don't do that.
Oh, what? Get an erg in there? It just happens. Sometimes they crawl in and then you're all an alien's plaything.
Oh, God.
You're the mech of a earwig alien crawling in there. This is Animorphs shit, Nicole. You didn't notice that? And then, like, one day a week, you go into this big old pool, let the erg fall out of your ear, splash around a little, and then you're like, where the fuck am I? Where am I?
Yeah.
You think you'd figure out, like, oh, I'm back here. I don't know how I got here, but I understand what this is now.
I don't know. I don't know anything about Animorphs, so sure.
It's weird.
Whatever you say.
But yeah, I curse those who call you in.
Don't do that.
There's like 800 other people who work there.
Minimum.
Uh-huh. Maximum, like 803.
I think it's really funny how self-aware the main character is of like how much of a nerd they are.
Yeah.
And it's like this quote-unquote normal person doesn't want to be around someone who thinks anime girls are my wife. Mm-hmm. It was great.
If you could wife an anime character, let us know who you choose. And let us know your biggest delusions. And out of 3 Sentai members, what powers would you want for your team?
Also, does James have flat ass energy?
Flat chest energy, aka itty bitty energy, or baby dick energy?
Let us know in a 5-star iTunes review.
On Mostly Speakin Sentai. People won't understand it. And let them know this is coming from patreon.com/MLM pod. So then people in reviews will be like, oh, I guess I got to go on there to get the full experience.
Yeah. Tell those fucks.
So when he eventually like sees, or he's coming to this realization that, oh, this woman won't want to be with a Sentai otaku at 29 years old. And when I was watching this the first time, I believe I was 29, 28 years old. I was like, oh boy.
Oh boy.
Is this bad? Oh boy. Nicole, you're 26, 27?
27.
Oh, damn, dude. Looking nice.
Old as fuck.
No, you're not.
Shit. I was going to say something. I forgot already.
Who you shipping?
Cool. Who am I shipping?
Yeah, you said, oh, ship.
No, I didn't.
Oh, okay. Oh, chip. Chocolate chips.
Who are you chipping?
Oh, I would love to chip away at John Cena, you know, like get some of those muscles off from him. Chip him away. Chip him away now.
Okay.
And then who am I chocolate chipping? I guess again, John Cena. I'd love chocolate chips the shape of him. I love the shape of you. Winning a chocolate chip.
Chocolate chip nips.
Oh, that too. My nipples look like milk duds. He's having a delusion that he's about to save this lady who's getting mugged, and then he saves it, but then like, oh, we see that it's a delusion, and he's just fallen flat first on stairs, and this woman goes up to him, takes his bike, and just tosses an entire bike at this mugger. I liked it. It's funny.
Like a true hero.
Yeah, I think heroes, like a ninja, they're like, oh, we use everything around us to take people down. I've never seen Rocky, Tum Tum, or Colt ever throw a full bike at an individual, and they ride BMX.
They should throw them.
Yeah, they use them as like, oh, I'll have it up in my hand, and then enemy who's like a full-grown adult with a gun, they'll punch at them, but they make the bike frame go, they'll hit into the bike frame, and then they wrap it around.
So that it's like the bike chain, and they just keep moving the bike back and forth until it saws through their entire arm.
That too. Or no, it
takes up most of the run time.
Cole picks up the bike because he's the strongest one as a horse. And then Tum Tum's on top, and he's pedaling the bike, so the chain is like a saw.
Yeah.
And it cuts right through.
Yeah.
Easy as 1, 2. So, Nicole.
Yeah.
We have met now all 3 of the Rangers because Hakase says, hey, you're Nobuo, right? Well, come here. You're going to be a red. This fighter back here, that's our blue. And then let's find a yellow. And he's like, well, I've never heard anyone with the specific, like, the like a shorthand for yellow within their name. And then they just find this cat lady just hanging out with a yellow hair on. And they're like, that's our yellow.
Yeah.
So this individual...
It all seems very casual.
Oh, yeah.
But I love it.
Maria, she's our yellow, and she will have multiple cosplays throughout this entire series. So I want to rank all of them, just like in Engage with Nicolas Cage. When a new one appears, we're going to have a rolling ranking. So right now, Cat Lady, number 1.
Okay.
And then that's it for right now.
Oh.
Just like our Valley Girl episode, we're like, this is number 1.
Oh.
And then Rumblefish comes along and we're like, it's still our number 1.
Yeah.
Heating on Rumblefish. I'd like to rewatch that, though.
I'd like to rewatch Guarding Tess.
To reconfigure a ranking or just to rewatch it?
Because I want to watch it.
Okay. I want to rewatch Rumblefish to be like, is this truly a bottom of the barrel movie, or were we just hoping for a batshit Nick Cage and we got like an art film?
Both?
Probably, yeah. We then find their secret base, which is a Sentai cafe, and that's where we meet.
Well, I think it's a Sentai cafe called Secret Base, which is such a good name.
Yeah. For even just a normal Sentai
it should just
cafe.
Be a regular cafe for real.
And this is where we meet Mita. She's going to be very cool in later episodes, so be on the lookout for her. And this is where she hands them the MMZ01s, which is their changers. It's the Moe Zukun, I believe. And it is shaped off from this Aoi character in this anime that all 3 of them are obsessed with. It's also like hefty as fuck.
It's large. I mean, it's like a doll. It's a full like doll.
Yeah, it reminds me of like a very hefty dragon flyer or
from the 90s.
Yeah, just like dragonflies or dragon flyer, you go whip, 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 you pull a string and then they zip up in the air.
And it slaps you in the face a bunch.
Yeah. And you try and get it as high as your like 3-story home because we had an attic. So that's why it's 3 stories. It's so hefty, but it like turns into like this cool gun. And it's a pretty, in all, it's a cool design, but they can't keep it on them. So it's not like you'll hear a doop, beep, beep, doop, beep, beep, and then you look at it and you're like, whoa, Wade, what's the sitch?
Yeah. Kim Possible style.
Yeah. Then they use this to go into Jumosu, which translate to deep delusion, and that's how they transform and fight, which they're just hanging out, having a good time, and they're in the like in later Sentais or like a current day Sentai. You see this warehouse a bunch. I believe we saw it for the first time when watching the Super Battle, whatever that 4-episode mini arc was. That was real fun.
Yeah. Yes.
And Akiba Yellow and Akiba Red, they're fucking screaming into the sky, excited. And Akiba Blue's like, I don't know any of this shit. I thought this was new to all of us, but I guess there's a lore that goes back 50 plus years here.
Yeah, she is really just like wants to learn how to fight.
Mm-hmm. And then they get pulled out because Hakase, I believe, I don't know if she explains it, but she holds up that remote. It just shuts off all delusions, their power.
Sure,
so they're all of a sudden back in the cafe, and she says, we don't know who the big boss is. And they're like, excuse me? And she's like, just go out there, and if you see something suspicious, say something. And he's walking around, riding his bike, and he's like, I'm not going to find anything unusual. And right away, just a woman faints in the street in front of him. And he's like, oh, I guess this is it. I'll call up my friends. And they go to a vampire maiden cafe, which we just did Fan Expo Chicago, thanks to Chuckload of Comics.
Yeah.
And was it the Maiden Cafe? Is that what it's called?
A maid cafe.
In the same area, there was a maid cafe at this event, and just 2 wonderful parents, because their maybe 15, 16-year-old daughter was waiting outside for this maid cafe. And then when it's like, oh, it's time to go in, they were like, okay, have fun, honey. We'll be around the convention center. Just so nice to see parents be so open to the not weird, but uncommon things a child might enjoy.
Sure.
And like a maid cafe, those are kind of...
I mean, I don't really think it's that open that they're just like, bye, I don't want to do this.
Well, it, I think, was money to do it, so that could be a contributing factor. But isn't like a maid cafe, there's cuties serving you?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like Hooters if my dad...
And at least from what I heard from the person that was out there, they like do a song.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like Hooters mixed with Chuck E. Cheese... If I would have said like, hey, Dad, can I go to like, I don't know, a Hooters mixed with a Chuck E. Cheese? Will you bring me there? We need to go to Chicago for it. And it would cost you money. He'd be like, abso-fucking-lutely not. Those are all words I don't want any involvement with besides maybe the Hooters if I'm going there because someone I'm trying to sell automotive racks to chooses Hooters.
So as a society, we need Dave and Buster's to have burlesque shows.
Yeah, call it Dave and Bustin's.
Wow.
Or David Busts because it's burlesque.
Yeah.
We've seen some burlesque at the shithole.
We've seen a burlesque.
I think it was twice though, so we've seen some burlesque.
I wanted to do a burlesque show for Liz's bachelorette party.
Okay. Oh, man, but I wouldn't have been invited.
We didn't end up doing that. And then we changed it to go to a club.
You guys...
But then we definitely didn't do that because we drank way too much. And Liz passed out, like literally passed out at 8 p.m.
Yeah, you were like, oh, yeah, and we didn't do that. Yeah, you guys didn't end up doing anything.
Yeah.
And then I bought you guys pizza and then had to say, like, hey, as the sober, responsible one here, you can't leave this apartment now.
Yeah.
It would be irresponsible for me.
It was just supposed to be like a pregame, and then the pizza took like fucking 2 hours to get to us because I ordered delivery.
I mean, you guys were shit-faced before you ordered, if I'm remembering correctly.
I don't remember.
Because you guys were going to go out to eat, and then I'm like, you guys can't.
Oh, okay.
So let's just order Domino's, and it did take a little longer than usual, but as a drunk person who is hungry, you were like, this is taking forever.
It felt like an eternity.
Good times, guys. We got to do more bachelorette parties.
Yeah.
I'll probably be going to a bachelor party.
Yeah.
Lil Corey's bachelor party, he freaking fiancé'd up.
Arf, arf.
Arf. Oh my God, I could be his little Scooby-Doo. At the wedding, that wedding episode, how Scooby was just like, hey, here's my responsibilities.
What?
Oh, I guess I would have to be the officiator because
I was
Scooby...
going to say, I'm pretty sure that's what he was.
I was going to be the officiant of my friend Adam Sample's wedding, but then he ended up calling off, or one of them called off the engagement.
Yeah.
So I didn't get to marry anyone.
Yeah.
In the like classical term of the sense.
The verb.
Yes. I'm not getting married. I am doing the marrying. I'm marrying these two families as one.
As one.
Because they wanted a non-denominational officiant, so they were like, who could do that? And we're like, our most non-denominational friend, James.
Your mom sent me a message like yesterday being like, hey, you're a part of the family with or without that piece of paper from the government. And I was like, oh, thanks.
Maybe she was listening to one of these shows that I have recently said, like, ugh.
I mean, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, that was after she said, have your cake and eat it too. How about one with balls? And it's, what was it?
Have your balls and bounce them too. Nicole said, all she said was that comment. I knew Nicole recently posted about the have your cake and eat it too design that she posted and will be out for pins in the future, I believe. And Nicole just said what the comment she just said. And I was like, was that my fucking mom? And then she started laughing harder. I was like, yeah, it was my mom.
Hell yeah, dude.
Oh my God. They go into this cafe and immediately Nobuo, that's his name, right? Nobuo, yes.
Yeah.
Screams, you're fake maidens by the way you're talking. And then like full Nelsons, both of them. I think that's what that's called.
He says like, you're talking like a Sentai villain.
Yeah. And then headlocks them. They punch him in the stomach. And then he's like, oh, what's going on? They morph together into a man who has too long of a name for me to say. And that is the joke. As well as Melshina, who is our villain, and just revealing as all hell in the outfit, but smoking.
I love that outfit.
Yes, Nicole. If you're like, I want to cosplay as something, can I cosplay as this? You better believe Nicole can.
You better believe I'm not asking your permission.
No, not permission, but like, hey, do you think I can pull this off?
Sure.
Yeah, you don't need my permission to do anything besides, like, punch me in the gut. Houdini style.
What?
And not the rap group Houdini. He would get a cannonball in his gut a lot, or just punched in the gut. That's how he died.
Okay.
Because he wasn't ready for the punch, and someone decked him real hard.
I don't... Like, I...
This is real shit I'm saying.
I'm like, it probably is real, but at the same time, I don't believe you.
So they go full delusion mode. They go into this landscape. They're about to fight. And I love throughout.
It sounds like a Derms Clermont thing.
What? Oh, Houdini getting punched in the gut?
Yeah.
It's not. This is just real life.
Yeah.
So
super delusion, baby.
I love the
Deep
plays
delusion.
on the explosions in the background.
Yeah.
Because Akiba Red knows what's going on. Akiba Yellow, for sure, but is a little more like in her own world during all of this.
Excitable.
Yes. And then Akiba Blue, 0 reference point. So when the yellow, blue, red explosion happens after their first roll call, terrified. She almost falls off this cliff. They fight. They're going at it. Melshina's like, ooh, I'm cold because they're losing. And she's like, you take care of it. And
he's like, I'm going to leave. I'm cold.
And he's like, yes, Akiba Red, I know what's happened. And whenever the commander says, I'll leave this to you, that means the Sentai get to start winning. They wreck this dude. And then another explosion happens, which most of them are afraid of. They're like, we weren't expecting this creature to explode after we shoot him. He should have just fallen on the ground. And then they just wait around for hours for them to turn big and have a kaiju fight, but not thinking that, oh, we'll be able to do this, not knowing that they don't have a huge mecha. And I like that there is no huge mecha because it would be cool to see what would they do in some fights, but you're able to focus on the comedy and the story development opposed to just like throwing to a giant mech.
Yeah.
Oh, also the putties, the foot soldiers are called corporate slaves in this. I enjoy that.
I wrote faceless employees is what she said.
Oh, and then also up top, because sometimes they'll say something and then the translation will be up top.
Oh.
And one of them was corporate slaves, so maybe they're interchangeable.
Yeah.
Because she works for some business. I don't know if we find that out in this episode or a later one. She reveals the organization's name in a later episode, I think.
Okay.
Come at me from any angle. I forgot who says that. The wire work in this fight is great, but there's not a lot of other like cool fight techniques in these early episodes. But they make sure when we do the couple punches we're going to do, we're going to make them look real cool.
Maybe like the joke of her name being copyright is like we can't use her name because it's copyrighted.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that could be it. Yeah. I love how Akiba Blue is so focused on like keeping her skirt down. It's like, no, why do I have a skirt on?
Yeah.
This is just bad. Not knowing that, well, that's a common thing in Sentai. And I believe started from not just fan service, but them saying, well, we can't find women to be stunt performers. Well, get a man and throw a skirt on so you don't see his bulge.
Sure, yeah.
Which is on Corridor Crew when they were doing the stunt performers reacting to good and bad stunt work. One of them brought up of like, oh, this is what they used to do. It's called skirting, which is a highly frowned upon thing in the modern culture, which is good. And I think that's it. They come back out of. They're like, yes, I'm gonna have to start working out so I'll be able to fight even better. And then Hakase says, oh, you don't need to do that. And they're like, why? And she goes, none of that really happened. This was all in your head. It's a delusion. And they're like, what? And episode ends. I do like that these episodes, they end and then usually they pick up right where the last one left off.
Huh.
So it's a little more story-driven and linear story opposed to just like, oh, it's a monster of the week with a little bit of character development and plot development. But for that reason, if we do have guests, they'll probably have to be people who have seen all of these episodes and are familiar with the concept instead of just throwing someone in and being like, you kind of get the story, especially like the back half of this series is very much, you would say, I have no fucking clue what's going on.
Yeah.
And that's it, baby.
That's it, baby.
Ooh, we're the greatest Sentai podcast ever. Thank you all for listening. Nicole, you got any last thoughts? How are you looking at Akibaranger? Are you excited? Are you a little reserved? What's up?
I'm excited. I mean, I've seen this episode before and I was like, I love this so much. And then we never watched more of it.
Yeah, I think we watched the second episode and then stopped there.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed my time watching it for prepping. And truly, I think this is the greatest storytelling in any Sentai through a series. And I'm surprised that this coming out did not kill the 48 plus episode Sentai series. This should have been a a clear indicator that we need to do maybe 24 episodes for each Sentai.
Right. Like, yeah, you're saying it should have changed how Sentai is made.
Yes, I think it's that good. This should have been the game changer, but they're not looking to do that. They're looking to sell toys because that's where the real money's at. But I think if you had such a strong story, more people would be focused on that. Like, Steven Universe, the aesthetic is real cool, but I don't think I would buy any merchandise, at least to the point where we have purchased, if I didn't feel a strong emotional connection with those characters.
Yeah.
Because like most of the Sentai figures are just faceless individuals. So if I can't assign a personality to them, I'm not going to have like real cool role-playing fights with them and my other monster figures as a child or as an adult. If you're like my friend Demonic, who I once went downstairs to get him for dinner to hear him. It sounded like wrestling tapes were on, which generally they are, but it was him with a toy ring set.
Yeah.
With his figures, and he was calling the moves that he was doing on the mini figures that he had.
Hell yeah, dude.
And I thought it was adorable. I hope he's people have got to know that he would be someone who would do that.
I don't know.
He was like, I don't know, 24 years old when doing that. It was adorable. Just like he is in everyday life. Oh, yeah. Next month, we'll be going over episode 2. We're going to have a great time. Oh, I should say we're not doing the like audio radio plays, and we won't, because I think that would just be very dull for us to listen to and read the subtitles to while nothing's on the screen, if I believe that is correct. And we're not going to do the stage show because I don't know if I even have that in the bundle of downloaded material. We're just sticking to the 13 episodes, and we will be discussing the last episode, and when we get closer to that, I'll explain how we'll be doing that.
Okay.
I don't want to spoil anything for Nicole, and that's why I'm being as vague as I can, but if you've seen this, you might wonder, like, well, what are they going to do for that last episode?
Yeah.
I have a plan. Fucks. But yeah, also, if you're in this community and you're like, oh, well, you should get so-and-so on as a guest, let us know. Any last words?
I'm a fetal pig. Deal with it, you fucks.
I've been James.
I'm Nicole.
And we've been Mostly Speakin' Sentai After Dark.
At midnight.
Oh, get your sunglasses on. I'm kidding. You'll be running into things like fat titties. Bye.
What?
Because Midnight Toku should have boobs, Nicole. Oh, hey,